home of everything KMR. Thank you for joining me today. A lot to talk about. KMR right now is in the off season. Still about a week to go before any preseason activity, and still several weeks before the premier KMR Cup Series enters season number 40. That's right, 40, and will kick off at Daytona. But there are so many changes that are coming into this upcoming season that, and I'm itching to do something racy. So I figured I'd get on here and give you guys a broadcast because it has been a while, and I apologize for that. From now on, everything news related, KMR is the Speed Report. Any updates with the league, and all of your KMR exclusive interviews will all take place here on Twitch Monster 27. We will also host Twitch channel Jaron Hazen, which will be our official broadcast team, the KMR TV booth. So check us both out. My channel on YouTube is 105 The Drive, and our official broadcast channel from the booth will be KMR TV 105 The Drive on YouTube. So check us out. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. We appreciate all of that. So let's get a breakdown, first of all, of the new season. And as you can see, that's right, we are on Heat 4, NASCAR Heat 4 for the 40th season. How about that? We did not make that up. So there, yeah. All right. So a lot of changes coming to the series. So let's get you started with the Premier Series and what's going on. Again, this is the 40th season of KMR, and I'm very, very happy that everyone who participated to make this possible. I'm happy that you guys stuck around and that we got a really, really, really good core group of guys that have stuck through everything and made the league what it is. And I am deeply appreciative to everyone that has ran. Thank you. We hope to have new people come in that will continue to carry that same thrill that we've had. So I'm deeply thankful for that. And so with a new season comes some adjustments to some of the rules. So we'll get into that real quickly. First, one of the things that KMR has done in the past that has not been done up until now is in the past, KMR had a set schedule of races that was going to be handled and going to be ran guaranteed. And, that was just going to be it. And, but we're going to freshen things up a little bit, and this time we're going to have actually a cap to the amount of races that's going to be available. So what does that mean? Well, and this is speaking primarily of the Premier Series, although it affects all three. Every time I talk about an adjustment, I'm dealing with the Premier Series, so bear with me there. But anyway, so a points cap is going to be in place. So during the regular season, there's going to be points that are going to be allotted to the winners and everything as usual. And what's going to happen is when the person gets to 600 points, whoever gets there first, that's going to start the chase. A win is 75 points. You get bonus points added to that. So points mount up really quickly. And this is in an effort to, speed things along, keep things moving at a good pace, so that everyone can enjoy, KMR and have the biggest opportunity to run. There's no reason why a league season should last a year. It doesn't make sense. So we look forward to that big change coming for the series, and all three series will reflect that. In the chase races, the second round in the chase has been reduced from 6 races to 4 races. And so that gives, everyone an opportunity to, again, move the season along. And it's actually going to add a little fuel to the fire, because you don't have that many mistakes you can make before, you're going to have problems and you're going to need to get after it. So we're looking forward to that. And the team owner points are pretty much the same, but with the addition of created teams. Now, this game is awesome in which you can create a car, any kind of numbers, anything. It doesn't matter. You can create a car, you can create a number, create a team. And so there's going to be a lot of, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of created teams here, but there's only in KMR going to be allowed 3 custom teams, 3 custom slots. And once those slots are full, there are no more custom teams or custom paint schemes. You have to go with the originals. So I can tell you right now, as you can see, this is me, this is my number. This is a part of the team that I'm going to be running there in KMR. So only 2 slots left. And that's going to be reflected in all 3 series as well. And since we're on an open broadcast, man, I look forward to the hot seats, everyone having an opportunity to run. If you don't know what a hot seat is, basically what a hot seat is that everyone has an opportunity to run. If we don't have enough drivers, this league, the Premier Series, has 16 drivers. If we don't have 16 drivers before we prepare to go green, well, then we're going to search for drivers that want to run, that are going to fill that spot. But here's what's new to the season. In order to have an opportunity to run in the Cup Series, you either have to be a past champion who is returning, which we have quite a few of them, or you have to be called up from either the X Series or the Truck Series and be called up to have the opportunity to qualify. It's not going to be where someone just walks in and says, hey, I want to run, and be the worst thing, in the world. You will have call-up points that you'll earn in those lower 2 series. And anyone that's new that comes into the series fresh is going to start in the Truck Series and work their way up, which I think is awesome because we get a chance to see what, us Cup drivers get a chance to see, where the talent is and where the future of the league is going to be, who's going to be able to contend with the champions that are in the Premier Series. So I really think that's going to be awesome. And that's really the biggest adjustments to what was already the rules from last season. So without boring everybody to death with getting into all of the rules, we're just going to say, check out the website, www.thegamingriff.com. Scroll all the way down to where you see the KMR official league rules. Read them, and you'll know everything that's going along in the league. So let's switch gears here. Let's get you updated with what all is going on. What is breaking news right now? And so I think first and foremost, if you want to know the dates for the league and when it's going to start, open signups for the Truck and X Series will start November 9th. So what's going to happen is I'm going to send out a group message to everyone saying, hey, if you want to run KMR, please let me know. Please, come in. I need X amount of people to get this thing rolling. And that's open signups. And if you want to beat that, if you hear the broadcast and you say, hey, I definitely want to try this thing out, let me know. Send me your gamer tag in a message to Sam Cook, 2728785, and send me your gamer tag and said, hey, I'm interested in joining. And you don't have to run a qualifier. You don't have to do nothing. Just be there for the opening race, which is going to start for the Truck Series at 6 o'clock on Saturday, November the 16th. 6 o'clock, KMR will go green. So that's what you have to look forward to. You just go out there and start racing from the very beginning, earning those points and having the opportunity to move up through the series. Some will move up quickly. Others, it may take a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, for everyone to have fun and have a chance to win a championship and have a chance to be successful and have a chance to have competition, the biggest competition possible for each series, which is why the divisions were made in the first place. And the X Series will follow suit as well. You're going to have the opportunity to sign up for the X Series. You may not want to run the trucks, but you want to race KMR, the X Series will be there. Competition will be a little bit harder, but it will still be fun. So The X Series will start Saturday, November the 16th. It will race after the Truck Series. Earliest start time hopefully will be 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's what you have to look forward to in those two series as well. So, hey, something to look forward to in KMR, man. I'm excited to see. Of course, I'll try my best to be in the booth for the Truck Series at the very least. But hopefully I'll be in the booth for the X Series too for the starting day. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to it. And then of course the Premier Series, that's not an open sign up, but there will be drivers that will have to run a qualifier, which will be on November the 10th at 5 p.m. And then the Daytona 500, which will be the NASCAR Heat 4 500, will go green November the 24th at 5 p.m. Don't miss it. KMR TV 105 The Drive. It'll be Jaron Hazen that will be the Twitch. And you'll get an opportunity to see the Daytona race from the booth live on NASCAR Heat 4. So we're all excited. We're pumped about it. Okay, so let's get you started with team news and what's going on team-wise, because I'm pretty sure people want to know, okay, what is going on with the team, what's going on with, what's going to happen here. So let's get you with some team news. In the Cup Series, let's talk about a driver in the Cup Series. We're going to flash back to last season. Well, before we do that, yeah, let's talk a little bit about last season first before we talk about team news, because you're going to hear these names and be like, well, who the heck are these people? So let's talk a little bit about last season. And the way we're going to do this is talk about first about the finalists from last season that are locked in. We'll talk about the top 6 real quick, and then we'll talk about 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then we'll flash forward to some of these team names. So the first one to talk about drove the 10 car last season. Where he goes, no one knows from this point. But the driver of the 10 car for KMR was Paintbrush, not Eric Almirola. Paintbrush, yes. And Paintbrush had a tremendous season. It was an awesome season for him. And some people may look and compare him to some of the others in the league, like Nightfall, who can get wins whenever they want to, can come in and dominate the series. Well, I'll tell you something. Paintbrush from the very beginning, it was destined for him to win the championship. He comes in, wins the Daytona 500, dominates the Daytona 500. It wasn't that he wins, it's that he dominates the Daytona 500, winning stage 1, winning the race, just stayed up front the entire time, and at the end of the day was able to pull it through. Was amazing. Then he comes back and wins Atlanta right after that. The very next race he comes out and has a winning car. He wins several races after that. He wins in the chase and then wins the championship in the X Series. Man, he put together a really, really good run, an awesome run. And this was huge for him to win the championship. So what are my predictions for him this upcoming season? Well, as you can hear future driver coming up here. Future KMR star in the making, crying right now. We're going to work on that in the off season. What's up, little monster? What's up, man? You all right? Little monster's sleepy. So give me about 10 seconds, guys. Little monster and I are battling a cold, so we apologize. But yeah, my predictions for Paintbrush are that that he goes out there and he forgets about this past season. And I know that sounds weird. It's like, wait, he just won a championship. Why would he forget about last season? Well, it has been my personal experience, and I've seen it in others. Well, you go out there, you win a championship, and then, what ends up happening is that you that weighs on you. That you think about that when things start going wrong. You think, well, I did just win the championship, so it's not that big a deal. And I think it just takes that edge off a little bit, that competitive edge that you need to win a title. Sometimes I think it takes it off because you're thinking, well, I just won a championship. I'm top dog. And until somebody beats me, I'm going to stay top dog. And I think that just takes the edge off a little bit. And I hope that Paint goes out there with the same edge and that he had last season, or a bigger edge, and goes out there and dominates again. In the way that he can. And I think it's important for him to get a season off to a good start. I think if he DNFs early, especially in the 500, and he goes and has some struggles early, because the schedule is tough early on, with Roval being the third race in the schedule, which the schedule is released, guys, so check it out on the official website, thegamingriff.com. Scroll down to the series. You'll be able to check out what the schedule is. But I think that if he comes out and struggles early, I think it'll be really tough for him to combat that later. But if he goes out there and handles business, then I think that he'll be good. And my co-host here that was just crying earlier, he agrees. Ain't that right, little man? You agree with that? Yes, sir. You agree. Okay. Don't pull on daddy's headset though. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So I hope that Paint continues to do that, and he'll be just fine for next season, I think. Let's talk about the next driver in line. No, not Clint Boyer, but the next driver for KMR that finished second place in points is Nightfall. And Nightfall, another disappointing season. I'm sure that he feels that he had that championship in the bag. He should have had it in the bag. We're talking about a driver who, especially in the regular season, is so explosive when it comes to wins, and is so explosive when it comes to being able to dominate races, especially in the past, that you think about him automatically in championship contention. He's going to be there in the Final Four. He's going to be there contending for a title. It just that's what it is. And for him to come out, he had 8 wins in the past season, which is the most of the season. He already holds the record for the most wins in a regular season. And he already has a championship he did in his rookie season. But, there are plenty of drivers that come in KMR and won a championship in their rookie season. I think about one right off the bat, Ghost Train was a former champion in this league. He won his championship in his rookie season. He just came out rookie season and just dominated. You're not going to let Daddy do this, are you? Come on, little man. What's up with you? I'm talking about Nightfall. What you got to say about him? Huh? Yeah. Anyway. So he does really well through the regular season. But it just seems like every postseason, it seems like he applies the same talent and stuff that he had in the regular season, and he tries to apply it to the postseason instead of taking that extra gear and that extra step. It seems like he gets 1 or 2 drivers that just edge him out, and especially when it comes to late race execution in championship settings, it just seems like he's a step off in that department, and that's really been the deciding factor between him and past champions in KMR that have beaten him. Just split late race execution, that postseason execution. So if I had to say a projection for him in this upcoming season, especially with these new model cars, execution is everything. Taking care of your stuff, taking care of your equipment, taking care of what you have available to you. It's oh so important. You're going to have to do it. And I think that he's going to have to figure that out in order for him to be successful. Does he have the opportunity to win a championship? Yes, every season. But in order for him to turn that opportunity into reality again, It's going to take execution. It's going to be one of the most competitive seasons upcoming that we're going to have. So he's going to have to execute well all season long for him to taste championship victory lane. All right, still in the SHR stable. Let's talk about the next driver that was there. Let's see, 14, I believe it was. No, it wasn't the 41. It was the other one, the 10. There we go. Let's talk about this guy. No, we're not talking about Kevin Harvick. We're talking about Zesty. And, oh, hold up. All right, I'm back. Yeah, my son thought he could play an instrument here. That ain't gonna fly. Anyway, Zesty had a pretty good season himself. Just not enough. You get in the postseason. This is one of my sleepers to actually win the title last season because of his ability to get the championship victory lane and there's an ability to win races despite the competition and things of that nature. I was like, wow, he really has an opportunity to win a championship here, and then he gets there and can't get it done, and it just didn't look like he had the drive to want to win. And that's always been my question with him. Is he fast enough to win? Can he get wins? Yeah, he can beat the competition, but does he have the drive to win the championship? We'll have to see. So my thing for him, projection for him next season, I want to see what drive he has to win a championship. If he really wants to win a championship, I think this is someone that can be as competitive as anybody else. But if he doesn't have that drive to win a championship, he's not going to get it done. And we're going to have to see. He's one of the best. We're going to have to see if he can translate some of that. And my little co-anchor is just wide open, guys. I wish you could see this. Man. Come on, little man. You can't do, I already done told you can't do that. You just can't do it. So check out our races from last season on the YouTube channel, KMR TV 105 The Drive, the official broadcast station of KMR. All right, so now that I have a moment's peace from little man, let's talk about our next driver in line there. He ran the 41. So again, SHR. SHR was dominant. We'll get into the team discussion in a minute, but he's back. All right, well, let's talk about the 41 of what is now Dopey Lion. It was Kanye X, and before that it was Swift Bunny, and everyone knows him as Swift, so that's who we're going to call him right now. Swift was one of those drivers that he is an enigma. You don't know what you're going to have when he gets out there on the racetrack. I'm going to put you back in the playpen, son. One of the things that worries me about the 41 is his inability to get the victory lane. You got to be able to win races in the Premier Series to win a championship. Now, that's not necessarily the case in order to get to the final round. Being consistent will get you where you need to be most times than not. But at a certain point, it comes down to, can you win? Can you win races? And we did not see the 41 in championship victory lane. Second straight season that has been the case. And, it's just one of those things. You got to get the victory lane. Got to be able to get the victory lane. So I want to see, can he step up enough to get himself to victory lane? Can he step up enough to win races? And I don't mean draft restrictor plate races where you got all your teammates rallied there behind you and you're basically being pushed to a win. I want to see him get it done at an oval. I want to see him get it done without help. I want to see his team struggle or his team be great and he has to beat them. I want to see, can he do that? Can he get 2 or 3 race wins in the regular season? Can he get a win in the postseason? Because if he can do that, then you have to start looking at him as a contender. But until then, I think the 41 is going to struggle and is not going to be able to get it done. So that's just something that I'm going to keep an eye out on. But he's not going to struggle that much. I mean, good Lord, he was in the Final Four. But is he going to win the championship ever in KMR? Not at his current pace. Oh, boy. All right. And that's again, the future of KMR is at my feet right now. So get ready. It won't be long. You know what they say, they grow up quick. How's that Cheerio? Good? Yeah. All right. The next driver was a bit of a surprise, if I have to say so myself. He was a bit of a surprise, and that is the driver of the 3-car, Beloved. Man, I tell you, he had the season of a lifetime last season, in part because of the type of season it was, with support kind of dwindling because of what I believe was the length of the season overall. But also, he had to drive the car. I'm sorry. He had to go out there and drive the car. And toward the end of the season, the dude started getting top 5s. He started getting top 3s. He started being relevant in the series. And, man, I'm telling you, he had the season of a lifetime last season. And for him to be able to go out there and do what he did was absolutely incredible. I think it was incredible for him to be able to do what he did. So my projection for next season, I think he overachieved this past season. So my projection for next season is that he doesn't quite do as good as last season, but I still think he will be a factor. However, he has got to stay away from stupid penalties late in the season or late in races. He has to stay away from stupid penalties. We're talking about someone who could have made the Final Four, was literally points-wise in position to enter the Final Four. You're in position to win a championship and blew it over a stupid penalty. He can't do that next season because the competition is going to be too good. The competition is going to grow exponentially. So you can't make mistakes like that. You have to, okay, you can make mistakes early in the season and you might be able to recover. But late in the season, you can't make those mistakes if you're trying to win a championship. You can't do it. And so he's going to have to tighten up late and have some self-control and be able to not make the stupid mistakes that cost you championships. Can he do it? Yes. He's a class act. He's one of the older drivers in KMR. You can stay away from the stupid mistakes. And if he can do that, although I think he overachieved, I think he will be close to what he was last season and could possibly find himself locked in to yet another season. And finally on that list is me. How about that? Sam Cook finished 6th last season. Last season was not my season, so I'm happy to finish in the top 6 at all, which was my goal when I realized that winning a championship wasn't going to work. A lot of off the track issues came up for me, as you could hear in the background, with little man here. A lot of off the track things that I had to contend with, which kind of tanked my season. So I want to take this time to apologize to my team. I want to take this time to apologize to the league, because my absence, I think hurt in a way, especially my team, kind of took the fire out. And so that's not going to happen this upcoming season too much. We're definitely going to find ourselves in the right positions so that we can take advantage of what we need to, and be that contender that we need to be. So that's going to be the goal for the season, and that's what we're working towards. Um, so if I were to project for next season, now I don't typically like to do this for myself, but considering I don't have anybody in here with me, I can do that. So y'all just hush. If you got something to say about it, there's nothing you can do. Anyway, projection for me next season, I'm definitely gonna make the top six next season. I think that without question, I'm gonna make the top six, even with the enhanced stuff. I really like the way the cars feel now, which has been a challenge for me since the transition from N15 to this to NHE, NASCAR crap, and NASCAR crap 2 and NASCAR stinks 3. And so now we actually have a game where we can actually enjoy it and feel the car and how it responds and how it's supposed to do. And the car is not made out of rubber where it bounces off of the other cars, and so much so, and you can actually tune the car well. And there's just so many positive things about this game and about this situation that I feel can help me to drive for a championship. We've got some really good sponsors on the car. We're sticking with Chevy Power because Chevy Power, Ford Power may be strong, Chevy Power is dependable. Or at least it used to be. But that's a story for another time. So we're sticking with that, and we're gonna do our best to try and overcome any obstacles that come our way, and try to get ourselves to championship victory lane. I do think it's plausible, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, so that's our top six, and top six are locked in no matter what throughout the whole season. It is impossible for them to become a hot seat. So they are locked in the entire season. And that's the reason you strive to get into the top six, so that you can be locked in. So now we're going to talk about the drivers that are in right now, but are not locked in. So what does that mean? That means they're in. They're going to be in the Daytona 500. They're going to be in the Auto Club race, which is race number 2. But after that, if they cannot perform well, if they don't perform well, they could be a hot seat. If they miss time, and other drivers show up that are hot seats, and they're in that mix, they could become a hot seat. And let's talk about our first driver, Speedy, and my teammate in the 99. He's going through he's going to have a number change this upcoming season, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about. I don't know what to say about the 99. I mean, I'd love to say that we're talking about a driver who has the potential to win a championship and everything. And I want to believe that, but I don't know. Down the stretch, well, of course, he was going through some off the track stuff too last season. I think that also hurt, his opportunities, but at a certain point, you've got to get it done late. And I think midway the season, you kind of ran out of gas, and execution wasn't quite right toward the end, and I just think it was quite a few things that was just like, come on, Speedy, you got to be able to get this done. You got to be able to handle this. So I don't know. If I were to project for Speedy, I think he'll have a just fine season for next season. He's my teammate, so I'm darn sure make sure that he is competitive week after week, and they and everything. But I'd like to see him perform a little bit better and execute in that mid round, and not use crutches. I mean, we're going to be running road courses soon, and I don't want to hear, well, I can't run the road courses. I'm not good at road courses. Get good at road courses, okay? Adapt your racing to get good at road courses, and what it may mean that you have to do a little practice, but guess what? We all have to do that occasionally. Get it done so that you could be there at the end. That's kind of what I'm thinking there as far as Speedy is. You got to be there at the end. For someone who's a two-time champion, you know what it takes to get there. This was the season to strike, and he came up short. And electronic issues were something else that kind of came in to play there. And I mean, that's unfortunate. Those are some things you can't control, but at the same time, it's like, man, what a disappointment, because the season was kind of there. It was kind of laid out for him, and I really think he could have taken it, but we'll have to see what happens for Speedy in the upcoming. And I'm pretty sure Speedy's gonna let me know about the comments I just said, but hey, it is what it is, man. I'm on this show, I'm here to criticize and to make assumptions, and you ain't here to defend it. So, well, sucks for you. All right, next driver, and I'm going to kind of drop here a potential car that could potentially be going to was JP Strunk, and we know him well as All Guns, and JP had a really good season last season. He just couldn't win. And again, this is where it comes down to. The lower you go in the standings, the harder it is. And he just couldn't win. He just couldn't win races. He had a really good season. He was right where I thought he would be. And in the postseason last season, execution, doing well at Daytona and everything, he did pretty good. You just got to win. You just got to win. You got to win races. And I think that's what's slowing him down right now. He's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to try and win races in order to be able to win championships and get where he wants to be. Also, electronic failures killed him. And there were a few races he didn't show up to that killed him. But overall, I think he can be a definite contender for next season. He'll probably end up exactly where he is. But again, for Speedy and for All Guns, it's going to be so important to get off to a good start. Going out there, winning Daytona, going out there, or doing well at Daytona, making sure you through all the stages, because it's going to be different this upcoming season compared to last season, which we'll get into at the last segment of the show. But you're going to have to make that adjustment. You're going to do something to make that adjustment. And that's what's going to happen in order for him to be able to be successful. He's going to have to be successful early, because if he falls low early and then has the pressure of other drivers, breathing down his neck that didn't make it through the qualifier or trying to come up through that hot seat, he could find himself in the KMR TV booth instead of out there on the racetrack. So if he wants to be out there, he's going to have to get it done. And so maybe a new look, new team will kind of change things for him. And next on the list is Hair Bear. Yeah, Hair Bear been around the league a while. Got his first career win last season at Daytona, winning a stage at Daytona. And I think Hair Bear kind of ran out of gas with all the things that were going on internally with the team. I think he was kind of a victim. But he started to run up front a lot more. Electronic failures killed him. Just got to find a way to get that under control in order to be successful. I mean, he's going out there and battling, and I just think that I just think electronic failures kind of tanked him. So I think that he's going to have to try to figure things out for next season as far as the electronic failures, so that he'll be a little bit better. He can actually go and try to fight for races at the end, because he'll be there at the end and everything. I don't know what too much else to say for Hair Bear. He's going through a number change as well. Same team, number change. We have a goal to try to get through this season together. So my projection is that Hair Bear will be just fine. He'll find himself back in the run-in for the top 10, but hopefully this time a little more competitive, and we'll be able to fight to try and win that championship. And last but not least in the top 10, Amari. Um, Mari last season had some issues, on track issues, got a couple aggressive driving penalties, which really hurt him. Had some off track issues, which lent him a really, really big penalty, which kind of tanked his postseason. Even if that wouldn't happen, do I think Amari is a threat to win a championship? No. Amari is another one of those drivers. Wins are going to come few and far between for him. There were some tracks where he was battling for the lead, but for the most part, it was Paintbrush, Nightfall, Speedy, um, and that was pretty much it, battling for the lead. And I think that as I go to Amari, I'm sitting here. I'm sorry, guys. Amari. Let's see if I can find his number. That he ran last season. There we go. Yep. And so he was still with the 12 last season, and I just think that it's just going to be it's going to be tough. I don't see Amari getting much better than what he was last season. Here's to the hopes that he handles the off season or the off the track issues. My message to Amari would be, hey, focus just mainly on the racing. Let the officials handle what happens off track. We have rules in place to handle those things. Those things do not, thanks to the awesome job from my officials in the chat, especially Paintbrush. These things don't go out of sight. I see them. I'm informed about them. Let the league handle these things. Keep your nose clean and out of trouble, and fight to win that championship. Anything else is a distraction, and so you don't want to have that in place. So I think that he could be someone who could win the championship with some time. But another thing that he has to be able to do is he has to be able to show up to races. He has to be able to show up to races and win races. So showing up is first and foremost. He has to be able to show up to races. So we'll see what he's able to do next season. Can he make all the races? He's in a position where he could become a hot seat. If he's a hot seat, that's going to be tough. He's going to be battling to get points. We'll see what he do. We'll see where he ends up next season, whether he decides to stay with Penske or whether he goes elsewhere next season to run. So we'll just have to see what happens with him and whether he can oh Lord, whether he can make it happen next season or whether he'll struggle. And that was it for the top 10 drivers there. We'll see if the top 10 in this list will be the top 10 for next season. We don't know. There's a lot of returning veterans coming back next season who have won championships. Some of them, a lot of championships. So we'll have to see if they can accomplish that as well. As far as the team, SHR was the team points champion last season, and there was no doubt in my mind that they deserved that. They ran as a team for most of the regular season, and they got those team points. And so they are awarded 50 team points that can be used after Daytona. So they're plus 50 already in the good, while everybody else starts at 0. So I think is excellent for them. Like they need it. They don't need it, but it is what it is. As far as teams next season, how do I view each team that was a team driver last season or that was a part of KMR last season? Well, let's start with SHR. I think they will continue to be good. I think SHR will continue to be strong. But I don't think as a whole they'll have the season that they had last season. I think, again, Nightfall is going to carry that team as he always does so well. We're going to have to see if Nightfall can keep the other personalities in check when things start to happen off the track and hold these guys accountable for what happens and hold them accountable for what happens on the track. Make these guys realize that, you're going to have to fight for a championship at the end, and promote that next season so that the racing with the teammates can be competitive. We'll see what happens there, and I look forward to seeing it. The next team that was second place is my little man's cold flaring up on him. Yeah, little man. I know. You alright? You alright? Oh, sleepy. It's sleepy time. You want to climb up here while Daddy talk? Okay. Alright. The next team, don't mind me, guys, doing daddy duties at the same time. The future of KMR is getting sleepy. Alright. The next driver in line here that I want to talk about, or the next team in line, is CMR. And, of course, we got to go back to the 27. 27. There we go. Yep. And back in the 27, I'm really excited. Last season was the 28. I really didn't like that number. But it was the only numbers available for the custom team, and I was like, screw it. I was going to run the 8, but then it meant switching teams because the 8 technically is an RCR car, and I didn't want to leave and go back to RCR. So I had to run a 28. I really didn't like it. Struggled last season, but our team did good overall. We got several team finishes last season, which really helped us in the regular season points, as well as it helped us in the points battle with the team points. Just not enough there at the end. In some cases it was only Speedy Racing. Me and Hair Bear weren't there. We lost one of our teammates in Paintbrush who switched in the middle of the season, and so it just made it hard and difficult on all of us to kind of stay with SHR. But I think this upcoming season will continue to be a challenge to fight for that championship in the team points, and I think it's going to be fun. And we're all looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the possibilities upcoming and have an opportunity to get this thing together. I can't wait. As y'all can already tell, I'm already broadcasting, so I just cannot wait for the upcoming season. I just can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. All right. RCR is going to remain intact, and RCR is going to be another team. I think that's really going to be a good team. Outlook for them is that they're going to do well, and I think right now it's a single car team. I think that's really good. Although I think they could do well to have a teammate, another driver, possibly in the 8 or the 31, to kind of help stabilize that team just a bit and keep them in running in the team points. But I think that the RCR is going to be good. RCR is going to be hanging around those team points in the team points battle, as long as it doesn't become a situation where one of them needs the team points and you have to use it on them. I think they're going to be good. I really do think they're going to be good. The 3 car was a consistent top 5 finisher by the end of the season. I think if he can pull that off again, he'll be just fine. Actually, Hendrick Motorsports is going to be a player next season. I'm going to throw some I'm going to do a little flash forward. I'm not going to tell you who's going to run the car, but the 88 car will be a racer next season. My projection is that they're going to get through the qualifier and be able to race. And so look out. I think Hendrick Motorsports can get some steam, and I think that Hendrick Motorsports could definitely be a player for next season. So we'll definitely keep our eyes out, won't we, for what's possible for this team. Hendrick Motorsports last season struggled, I think, a bit, especially with the inconsistency of the 9's presence, which was Slothy or Back in Black last season. Well, he's going to be moving on from the team, so the team is going to have to go in a different direction. And I think the direction that they're going to head in is actually going to be something positive, and we're going to have to see how it turns out for them. Well, I'm excited to see what they have in store. And this is going to be a big one because now we have, JGR is coming back in full force, signing some deals with some big names this offseason potentially. And a lot of it hinges on one particular driver, but I'm telling you, man, this is going to be a huge, huge deal. If they can sink this deal, get those drivers there to that team. JGR is going to be back in business. We're talking Toyota for the past 3 seasons has been literally non-existent. There has not been a Toyota in the field. Last season we had the 11 here and there, not really competitive, just out there running. And then you had Fleur, who was in the 18, hit and miss, not really out there running, not competitive. If they start the season with the team that they're expected to start the season with, guys, look out. JGR and Toyota is coming back. And I think that's really going to turn the tides when it comes to the team points battle, especially on the racetrack, because you're going to start seeing less and less Fords, a few less Chevys. Here comes Toyota. Things are going to start to balance out just a little bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's going to be fun to see. And that's really all the news that we have available for you right now, guys. Stay tuned to the season and what's going to be available. So, before we conclude this particular show, we want to leak the schedule. It is released again. You can check this schedule out on KMR TV, or excuse me, thegamingriff.com. Scroll down to where you see any series, Cup Series, X Series, or Truck Series. And then as soon as you click read more on that, you're going to see the schedule. So I'm going to go through the schedule for the Cup Series because it is a big schedule. And so here we go. Daytona to start the season, of course. And then Auto Club. And then the Roval Race 3. I'm interested to see how many wrecks we're going to have at the Roval. And then Watkins Glen. Then Martinsville. You know what? Let's do something real quick. I think it'll be. There we go. So we'll have Auto Club, and then we'll have the Roval. No, the Roval. Yeah, the Roval. The Roval will be race 3. And it's going to be a fun course. It's going to be an exciting course. I look forward to it. And then we're going to go down here because we're going to have Watkins Glen. I'll give you the first 10 races. Watkins Glen. And then we're going under the lights for Martinsville. Everyone's going to look forward to that race. Everyone wants to see what it's like under the lights, except for me, because I've had a few practices there, and I was absolute garbage. So I know what to look forward to. It's going to stink for me. Then we're going to Vegas, the next race. Like Vegas a lot. I like the track, and Vegas under the lights. Get ready. Then we're going to Iowa, which is somewhere that KMR, the Premier Series has not been, so headed to Iowa. And then we'll be at Kansas, under the lights again. Well, actually, those are day races. Kansas is a day race. Vegas is a day race. Anyway. And then ISM. Love that track. One of my favorites. I like the way the cars handle there now, so that's going to be real fun. I'm looking forward to going there. It's circled on my schedule. And then finally, to round out the top 10, Indianapolis, the really fast 2-mile track. So I'll give you the top 10 because with the points cap, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and everything. So looking forward to that. For anyone that is currently watching, if you are watching this broadcast and you want to ask a question really quickly, I got time for maybe one or two questions, so you get a chance to ask a question or make a comment. That's always welcome here on KMR TV and 105 The Drive. You can say something. Don't mind it at all. And we'll look forward to it. And Twitch has changed things up on me a little bit. And while we're waiting here, we'll go through some of my favorite tracks so far in the game. I love Atlanta anywhere I go. Any game I go to, I love Atlanta. So, you know, I'm excited about that. Auto Club, always one of my favorites as well. I hate Bristol. Just don't get me started on Bristol. I hate it. I've ran Canadian Tire once. I didn't really like it, but the rendition of Canadian Tire was pretty garbage. So maybe this Canadian Tire is better, and if so, I look forward to seeing that. Charlotte, the oval's okay. The oval's all right. I'll give it, but I really like the Roval a lot. I really do. I like racing it. It's challenging. It's slow pace. You really have to be on guard, and everything. So, really like that. Chicagoland, I like that too. It's a pretty good race. Darlington is one of my favorites, though I haven't ran it on this track yet. It is one of my favorites. It's really tough. It's challenging. I like challenging races. I like all my restrictor plates. Dover is one of my favorites. I don't really like Homestead. Don't really like Indy or Iowa. That's probably my all-time favorite track right now, especially with the rendition and moving the start finish line was an excellent idea. It's probably one of my least favorite tracks right now is Kentucky. Really don't like Kentucky. Mid-Ohio, probably not a track I would want to. No. New Hampshire. I hate this track so much. It is banned from KMR. I hate New Hampshire. Don't like New Hampshire. New Hampshire's garbage to me. I wish they would take the track, if they made a Roval out of New Hampshire, I'd probably race it or watch it. But it just, the way it is, no. It's just a bigger Martinsville. That's all it is. Pocono is another one of those races I don't really like. If they made a Roval out of Pocono, I would probably watch it. I would probably want to race it, but just the way it is, I get it. It's the tricky triangle, but I'm just saying you can make a tricky triangle road course out of it. So I'm just saying. Richmond used to be one of my favorite tracks. Now not so much. It's blah. Road America. I still like Road America a little bit, but I haven't raced this rendition of Road America, so I don't know what it's gonna look like. So just have to see Sonoma with the bootleg now. Yeah, with the little insert in the track. That's gonna be interesting. I look forward to seeing how that's gonna run. Talladega is probably my favorite super speedway between the two, and I look forward to going there in the regular season. Texas, we don't really go there that often, but when we do, it's always good racing. Texas is tricky, especially in the exit of turn 2. Got to be careful. The Glen, okay, and then Gateway. Going to Gateway. at some point this season, possibly. So that's going to be an interesting race as well. So that'll do it for this broadcast, guys. We thank you for tuning in to the Speed Report, and this is what you're going to come to expect. This is the off season, so I'm by myself. There may be more times where I'm by myself, but for the most part, I'll have someone with me so we can have some discussions and some debates or whatnot. But we thank you anyway for joining us. Next time, drop a comment below and give us something to chat about as well. You know, you're always anyone that views, you're always wanted, and you're always appreciated in this. And feel free to have a discussion while we're having a discussion. Chime in on the discussion. Don't really care. I think it's good for everybody. All right, this is the Monster. Well, it used to be the